Isn't it amazing how fast one can turn a perfectly good driving car into something that is really not perfect in driving anymore? Thought I'd do a little update on what's been going on over the last little while, midway through June. So, at this point, I have stripped the front fenders, wheel arch or wheel liners, bumper support, rad support, all the headlights, the hood, obviously, the windshield cowl. The engine, obviously, I've taken out because that's going to go into my other Milano. And then the engine bay at this point is not completely stripped of all of its goodies, but it's getting pretty close. Once this engine bay is completely stripped down, I will be sanding, wire wheel, what have you, all the junk off of here, degreasing everything to the extreme, and then epoxy priming, and then again painting. So this should look pretty sexy once it's done. Power steering rack, all of its associated stuff is all out. Front suspension all completely missing, including the torsion bar, everything gone. I'm gonna do a real good job of sealing the front end of this car so she can't rust. As you can see, it's the perfect time to do it because hey, it's not rusty yet. Great, right? Took the front, or not the front, the side skirts off. Discovered no rust behind there, which is just amazing. So yeah, it's good to get on this now, seal it with some really high quality paint and primer over the old so that it's a little bit better. Modern paints and primers are far better than what they had back when this car was built. So yeah, front suspension's off, obviously. These now are my 27mm Shanke torsion bars from my other Milano. Those will go back into this car once it's all done and painted and everything. See what I want the ride height to be as well. Actually, the primary reason for removing the fenders and bumper and everything is so that I didn't scratch it when I was doing all this engine bay work. But I figured since they came off, I might as well prime and paint under there as well. So let's have a look at the other Milano. I have my big sway bar 2 from my Milano ready to go eventually back into this car as well. Here she is now. I haven't taken my rebuilt transmission and suspension out of the back of this yet, but that'll be actually my next step. But at this stage, I have moved all of that car's suspension into this car. This is all basically just stock equipment. So it's got stock torsion bars, stock brakes, stock sway bar, all just with poly bushings. Not a bad setup, honestly. It's pretty good. I'll put the yellow conies that I have sitting around on the front of here as well. So at this stage, this car is pretty much back to stock. Stock, I guess, with poly bushing, so it should be actually pretty nice. Engine bay, of course, is pretty much ready to receive that engine that was on the floor. I'm going to remove my rebuilt power steering rack as well because it's like brand new rebuilt, like less than 2 months ago. So that'll come and put it into my new Milano. So yeah, so front suspension is basically ready for me to put the weight back on it. Still have a lot of work to do though. Like, here's inside, full of boxes and boxes of stuff. This actually will hopefully go quicker. Let me just put it lightly that the front suspension on this thing was a bit of a bitch. Those adjusters on those caster rods, they were a real bitch. It took me like 3.5 hours to get both those adjusters loose, and so that I could have the alignment shop properly adjust those. Because if you take that to an alignment shop and it doesn't easily go, they probably just give up on it and not bother. And that's not what I want them to do. So again, rear suspension is going to come out soon and be swapped with the rear subframe that was actually in this car, which is actually, as you can see, sitting on my jack as well. So that's actually been taken out. That was quick and easy, no big problems found there. that unit should work perfectly in the other car. So yeah, lots of work going on. Lots of other things happening. I just did the rear wheel bearings in my GTV6 as well. Or I should say one of the rear wheel bearings in the GTV6. I now have to do the other one because doing the one didn't actually solve the growling problem, which is a bit of a piss off. Not exactly an easy bearing to replace, so be warned if you wanted to attempt to do that.